What a way to start. It's gonna be like that all night. Oh boy, here we go. The NL. I got it, ESPN. I know the draft started. I'm here. But the NFL draft 2025 NFL draft. We are here. We are live and we are ready. Question is, who's going where? Let me get this ready as we get started. Whoa. There we go. Oh, what the? Let me do this again. Oh no! Come on, man. Sorry, guys. Just doing the usual setups as we get ready for this draft. We're gonna be here for a while. Obviously, you know how it is. Every time the draft comes up, you already know it's going to take a full break. This is a nightly. Oh my god. Like I'm messing this up as I'm literally. Oh, come on! This too? Dog, everything is just off right now. Ugh. And I gotta do this. Come on, man. Making me do 12 different things. Yes, it's me. Come on, man. Am I good to be set up? Yes. Okay. Thank you. I can finally see the chat. What's going on, everybody? Can I give you an update on the Knicks game? I have it up right here. I'm going to be listening in while we play the draft. The Knicks right now are actually down. It's Pistons up 43-39, 6:15 left to go in the first half. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be updating you guys about the NBA playoffs as we tune in for the draft. And here comes the man that everybody loves to hate. Good old Roger Goodell. So we're getting ready to kick this thing off. It's become such a tradition to just boo Roger Goodell. At this point, it's an aspect of enjoyment. He enjoys it. The crowd enjoys it. This is just what we do. My apologies for the cough. The pollen has been strong, which means my allergies, which again, something I haven't had in like 5 years, has been activated. I don't know what type of strong pollen we're dealing with, but it's incredibly potent. Potent enough to affect me. That's how I know the pollen is problematic. I haven't had allergies in years, yet here I am coughing. Thankfully, it's only the coughing, but it's annoying because I have to talk. And I also lost my voice, so I couldn't stream some of the playoff games. But we're here for a long day or a long night, and we're going to do whatever we can to stay here. So welcome, everybody, to the 2025 NFL Draft. It is time for picks to be made. And this is going to be one of the most interesting drafts for me because we're in a unique situation. Or at least I'm in a unique situation. With the Ravens, I'm used to us being, down at the late 20s because usually we're one of the best teams in the league and we don't go far. But this year, it's not just the Ravens, it's the Commanders as well. So the Commanders are not in the top 10 this year. Hallelujah. I think they're the 29th pick. So I don't have to worry about the first round talent saying this is going to make or break our team. No. Ravens going to get a mid pick. Yeah, it's because everything the Ravens do is mid and everything the Ravens do is bad. That's great. Like, sure. If there's anything I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go with that aspect. I think you should probably go with the aspect of them actually being good at drafting because they usually do draft great picks. That would probably push the agenda of us just wasting talent because the Ravens usually do draft great. They just waste the talent. But we got some good games. This game between the Knicks and the Pistons, man, is really good. Detroit's really taking it to New York right now, and the Knicks they're taking these punches. Knicks probably got to win this one to steal back home court advantage. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm still pissed off what they did, man. For some reason, they decided to put the best series we've had so far, Game 3, Nuggets Clippers tonight at 10 p.m. They put that on NBA TV. You've got Thunder and Grizzlies on TNT, but you've got Clippers and Nuggets on NBA TV. That don't make no damn sense. The best game of the entire first round pushed to NBA TV. Are they using their heads? Way to go, Adam Silver. Who made that schedule decision? Who wants to watch the Thunder just stomp the Grizzlies for another game? We want to watch the game that's been close in both game 1 and game 2. I mean, the Bears do still. This is in Green Bay. The Bears do still suck, but I didn't realize the draft was in Green Bay. I did not actually peep that. The draft is in Green Bay this year. That's interesting. That works, I guess. But here we go. We got a lot of interesting picks coming up here. Obviously, the number 1 pick, everyone expects Cam Ward to be drafted by the Tennessee Titans. But the question is, where is Shador going to go? There's been so much talk this week that he's going to fall. There's people saying he's going to fall at the top 10. There's people saying he's going to fall to the end of the draft, on the end of the first round. And there's other people that are saying he's not even going to go today. You know, I've seen some fans say he's going to the Browns because they need the quarterback. Some have said he's going to the Giants. I don't know how this is going to go down. But we're officially started. The NFL draft has officially kicked off, and I am signed on for the next 4 hours. This is not going to be fun. But here we are for the next 4 hours. I'm glad I got my charger because we got a lot of games, and I got to be prepared to watch these games and do what we got to do. But here we are for the draft. Titans up first. The expectation is Cam Ward. Travis Hunter is also another individual that people expect to be drafted. In fact, people are expecting Cleveland to draft Travis Hunter at 2. We'll see where he's going to go. The draft is officially kicked off, and I cannot wait to see how things are going to go. For the Ravens, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to be honest. For both the Ravens and Commanders, I don't want to hear about a single offensive play for the most part. I want defense. For the Commanders, for God's sakes, get a DB. I don't care if it's a corner. I don't care if it's a safety. Get a DB. That secondary in Washington needs help. If you're going to compete with the Eagles in that division and deal with Devontae Smith and deal with A.J. Brown, you need a secondary. So Washington absolutely has to get themselves a corner or safety. I'll take a corner for the most part. Get me a corner. As for Baltimore, you've got 4 spots. That one of those 4 spots better be the pick in this first round. Edge rusher, safety, corner, guard. That's it. You're going to either get me a guard, you're going to get me a corner, a safety, or an edge rusher. Please, edge rusher or safety. I really want an edge rusher in the first round. I want an edge rusher. I can settle for safety or corner or offensive guard because those are aspects of need. I swear to you, if they take a wide receiver or a running back, this is the one year I'll say we don't need a weapon in the first round. That's a second round, maybe even a third round type pick. You need a defensive guy, and I want that guy. I said this when I made my live stream a while back when I was talking about what the Ravens need to address. The number one thing I said we got to address has to be the pass rushing unit because we can't consistently generate pressure. The last 2 years, we've been top 3 in sacks. Yet, despite that, we can't consistently generate pressure, and it has stopped us from being able to get to the quarterback in key moments in the postseason. So we got to go get that guy. if you're not going to get that guy in the first round, then get me a safety. Because I know if you're going to get a safety, they're trying to get Kyle Hamilton back to the spot he was in 2023. So I could take a safety. If you're going to give me a corner, I'm fine with that. Brandon Stevens is gone. You've got to replace him. I can take a corner. If they take a guard, absolutely. That most likely means Voorhees is not going to be the starter. So again, there's 4 aspects of need. Edge rusher, safety, corner, guard. That's it. So one of those 4, I'm fine with. One of those 4, I'm absolutely fine with. We don't need a receiver in the first round. We don't need a running back in the first round. I'll say it. We do not need no tight end. Even if they decide to trade Mark Andrews, which, by the way, will be discussed throughout the entire night. Mark Andrews potentially being up for a trade. We're going to find out here. Is this going to be another Hollywood situation where Hollywood got traded during draft night to the Cardinals and we got a first-round pick? We're about to find out. I don't think Mark Andrews is getting traded tonight, but that has been a topic of discussion for the last 2 months. And here we are now, draft night. If the Ravens are going to trade Mark Andrews, now's the time. We'll see what happens, though. We will see what happens. Let me put this game on because I got to keep up with this. No receiver should be taken by us until the 3rd round at the earliest. And I would agree with that. At the end of the day, let's address the needs. We need an edge rusher. We need a safety. We need a corner. We need an offensive guard. We do not need a receiver because it's just going to be a receiver that's just going to sit there and be the wide receiver 3 or 4 on this roster. What's that going to do? You've already got your guys in Flowers and Bateman. You just got DeAndre Hopkins. You're fine for the receiver position. Not saying you can't add there, but that absolutely should not be the number 1 aspect to get within the first 2 rounds. You need an edge rusher. You need a safety. You need a corner. You need an offensive guard. If it's up to me, we're taking an edge rusher with this first round pick, and we're calling it a night there. Unless they want to, if they want to if they want to jump up, if they want to trade up, use some of those later draft picks and trade up to get back into the first round, I'm fine with it. If you want to put together a package that will allow you to get back into the first round and take another defensive player, I'm cool with it. At the end of the day, this first round draft pick for the Ravens better be a defensive player. And it's got to be either, I would say, an edge rusher or a safety. I would love a guard to protect Lamar or even the pass rusher for sure. That's what I'm saying, man. 1 of 4 things has to be addressed. I agree with you. 1 of 4 things have to be addressed within this first round. Edge rusher, safety, corner, offensive guard. 1 of those 4 has to be showcased here tonight. We don't need another receiver. We don't need a running back. We don't need a tight end. We don't need a linebacker. Though I would say it's kind of a need, but that's more so towards like 3rd round. You could get some good some good talent there. Tyler Wallace would probably start over that receiver, to be honest. Exactly. I don't see a point in drafting a receiver at this point. Your receivers are young. You've got Flowers. You've got Bateman. You just got Diop. Excuse me. You just got Diop. You still got likely Mark Andrews, unless they trade him tonight. Mark Andrews still going to be here. Weapons is not the problem. Get us a pass rusher. All right, I'm going to be eating oranges throughout the night to try to keep my energy up and help with my voice. I had lost my voice throughout the week, and I've been coughing due to this pollen that's starting to affect me. So I gotta keep eating oranges, try to help with that. The citrus is gonna help me. Cade Cunningham's got 13 points in the first half. He's balling. The Knicks regained the lead. They're up 50-49. Oh yeah, I got water too. But John, I can't just not talk. Listen, I haven't been here the last few days to help myself out. I'm good for tonight. I'll struggle through it, but I'm good for tonight. That's why you didn't see me stream the last few playoff games. Here we go. Cam Ward. Everybody knew Cam Ward was going to be drafted by the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis, count your days or get ready to be a backup. I got the notification, ESPN. Cam Ward was drafted #1. Best of luck in Tennessee. Cleveland is up next. Cleveland is up next. Now, what? 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 What is happening? The Jaguars traded a load of draft picks to just go up #2. The Browns moved down to 5. I think they got a second round pick. They got the Jaguars 2026 first round pick. Hold on, let me get the whole details here. The Jags just gave up a haul. I don't blame Cleveland to go down to 5. Travis Hunter, there's a chance he's still gonna be there if you want him. Hold on, the Jaguars just traded up to 2. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Jacksonville really just traded up. What the? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see this whole report. The Browns receive the 5th overall pick, so they move down to 5. They get a second round pick. They get a 4th round pick, and they get the Jaguars 2026 first round pick. I mean, this is crazy. But the Jaguars do receive. They get the second overall pick here in the first round. They get a 4th round pick, and then they get a 6th round pick. But the fact that they got the Jaguars 2026 first round pick, that's gonna be crazy. Which quarterback is better for my Steelers? Which quarterback is better for my Steelers? Should draft Shedeur Sanders or Jason Dart? I don't even know if Shedeur is gonna be there. Dart, you're probably gonna have to go with Dart. Dart, if he's there, you're probably gonna have to go with Dart. You know, there's already also the possibility that the Steelers could take Jalen Milroe. I don't know if they're going to. I doubt it. I don't really see the fit there, but they might take Milroe. Though Dart might be in the aspect that they could take. All I know is Pittsburgh has to take a quarterback in this draft. Just for insurance. You don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. You got to take a quarterback. Because you can't start the season with Mason Rudolph. No. But this is crazy. The Browns traded down to 5. I'm interested. Who are the Browns targeting? Who are the Browns targeting? Travis Hunter might be going to Jacksonville. The fact that Cleveland's willing to trade down means they were not exactly interested. They weren't going to get Travis Hunter because Travis Hunter doesn't change anything for them majorly, I guess, because they need a quarterback, but I guess Travis Hunter isn't good enough. What's the point? Who's Cleveland targeting? Who is Cleveland targeting here? That's way too much to move up 3 spots. Exactly. But here's the thing. What is Jacksonville looking to get here? If Travis is the pick, it makes sense because they could use another receiver for Trevor Lawrence. They absolutely knew that. And you know this guy can play defense too as a corner, so that's going to improve their defense as well. You get a Swiss Army knife, it makes sense. But they've given up a huge haul. Listen, they gave up 4th round pick. They gave up a 5th round pick, a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick. That's fine. But they gave up their 1st round pick from next year. That's what's getting me. If it was the 5th round, the 2nd, and the 4th, fine. But the fact that they gave up their 2026 first round pick, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Are they that? I gotta see who they're trying to get. The pick is in. I gotta see. To be fair, I don't think another quarterback will be taken after Ward. People think Shedeur is still going to be drafted, but we'll see. I gotta see what the Jaguars was so interested in that they were willing to get to the #2 overall pick to draft. This has to be Travis Hunter. This has to be for Travis Hunter. You don't move up this type of spot if you're not getting Travis Hunter. Well, he should be happy. He's not going to Cleveland. Would have been horrible if he was going to Cleveland, but he's not going to Cleveland. That man's lucky he escaped. He don't got to go to Cleveland. You got to be happy about that. You ain't got to go to Cleveland. Arguably the best overall player in this draft. I love that they take 12 years. Come on, Goodell. Come out here and give us the pick. We know it's Travis. Uh-huh. Knicks have taken over here. Minute left to go. They're up 11. Detroit's got to get something going before this quarter ends. Come on, Schroeder. You got to put it up. Shot clock winding down. You got to put something up. Oh, God. What was that? Yeah, Knicks taking over. Knicks have taken over here towards the end of the quarter. Well, towards the end of the half here. Bridges pulls up for 3 and puts it. Wow. The Knicks are just on fire right now. They're up 14, and Detroit looks dead. They better figure something out. What? Of course he did. I was about to say, don't. I thought I was going to say another trade now. Mm-hmm. Here we go. We know it's Travis. Yeah. That man is a happy man. He does not have to go to Cleveland. Nah, bro. He don't got to go to Cleveland. He don't got to go to Cleveland. I mean, the Jaguars aren't a great team, but you're not in the toughest division in the world. You have a decent quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. And again, it's not Cleveland. It's not Cleveland. Oh, my God. Travis going to Cleveland would have been disgusting work. Travis going to Cleveland would have been disgusting work. That man is a happy man. Look at him smiling and dancing. I don't know if he would be like this if he was going to Cleveland. At the same time, you know, getting drafted is still an amazing moment. But that man going to Jacksonville, it's going to be very fun to see him with Trevor Lawrence. They're going to put together a really good campaign. They're going to see some great numbers. I don't know if it's going to equate to anything major because, again, Jacksonville right now, they're kind of this up and down team. If Trevor Lawrence stays healthy, they got a chance to win that division over Houston. I'll still take Houston overall, but they got a shot to beat Houston for the division if Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy. And you're gonna give him Travis Hunter, great guy, offensively and defensively, two-way player. It's gonna be special in Jacksonville. This is a great pick. If you're willing to give up that many picks to get Travis Hunter, then this has to work out for this team. We'll see. We'll see, man. We will see. Congrats to Travis Hunter. He's not going to Cleveland. Lucky, lucky man. Nobody wants to go to Cleveland. Lucky, lucky man. Imagine trying to be a receiver and prove yourself, and your quarterback is who? Yeah. Good luck. I'm happy, happy man. Happy, happy man. Now my team don't have to play Travis twice a year. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how he would have fared in the AFC North. I do not know how he would have fared in the AFC North. He would have been frustrated. He would be doing his thing, but he'd be frustrated because he doesn't have a quarterback. And everyone would be like, man, if Travis had a quarterback, he'd be balling. But, you know, in the AFC, the AFC North, that would have been a tough, tough situation for him. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. He's going to Jacksonville. I like it. I like him going to Jacksonville. I think he'd be an interesting pairing with Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence does need that guy. And, yeah, he's going to be a great piece defensively. So if Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy, the Jaguars are going to have a chance this year to try to compete for the division over Houston. Houston's gotten it the last 2 years. That's been their division. The Colts have been here and there. The Titans are virtually blah. But now we'll see what the Titans can do with Cam Ward. You've got your new quarterback that you drafted. You don't have to worry about Will Levis's nonsense. Mason Rudolph's no longer there. You don't got to deal with that. You've got your new guy in Cam Ward. Can he turn things around in year one? Not expecting it to be a situation where he just completely turns the franchise around, but who knows? Maybe he'll be the guy to do it 3 straight years. C.J. Stroud did it in 2023 for the Texans. Jaden Daniels did it last year for the Commanders. Maybe Cam Ward can do the same for Tennessee, turn them around and make them a playoff team. Oh, the Giants pick is in, bro. I've heard some Giants players, not Giants players, I've heard some Giants fans say they need Shador. They want Shador. They got to get a quarterback here. And I don't think the Giants are going to draft a quarterback. But I got to see. All right, we're in halftime here. Knicks up 66-53. Pistons getting walloped, which I expected because, again, I picked the Knicks to win the series in 6. Giants pick is in. We'll see what happens here. What if what if it is Shador? Dion. Yep. We gonna find out, man. Jacksonville gonna be a little bit more interesting this year. All right, Giants pick is in. We're waiting for the commissioner. I will laugh if the Giants didn't get a quarterback because Giants fans were screaming that they were going to get a quarterback. And I know Fisk was talking about they got to draft Shador. Shador going to be our quarterback. If the Giants don't draft Shador, he's going to be heated. Here we go. But is it Shador? Shador in New York? Shador in New York? Oh my God, they didn't draft Shador. Oh my God, nah. I was told they draft. No, no way, no way. Oh, Fist about to lose. I got to see this. Oh nah. They took Abdul Carter. He not gonna like this. He not gonna like this. He not gonna like this. That's hilarious. Wow. I think this is a great pick. I think this is a great pick for the Giants. Adding to that defense, you're in a division with the Eagles. You've got to deal with Saquon Barkley. You've got to get to Jalen Hurts. This is a great pick. The Giants don't believe Shador is the guy. And if they do, they may trade back into the first round because he's probably going to drop. New England's not taking a quarterback. Cleveland might take Shador. Cleveland might legitimately take Shador. Shador may be coming to the AFC North. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, I'm talking about Fisk. If you know who Fisk is, he's a Giants fan. If you know about his YouTube channel, he's a Giants fan. But this is a great pick. This is a great pick for the Giants. This is a great pick for the Giants. You're in a division. Now, think about it now. You're in a division where you got to deal with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, that dynamic duo in Philadelphia. Now you've got this new kid on the block in Jaden Daniels. You've got some mobile quarterbacks you've got to deal with in your own division. You're going to need somebody like an Abdul Carter. So this is a great pick for the Giants. I mean, yeah, Shador could go to Pittsburgh. I don't know. I don't think Cleveland's going to draft a quarterback. They're kind of stuck in the situation they are, and I don't think they're even majorly interested in Shador. Interesting pick here for the Giants. I think it's a great pick. Given the division, I think this is a great pick. Who's up next? Let me let me check that. Oh, the Patriots are up at four. Okay. The Patriots are up at four. Okay, so we'll see what the Patriots get. Hmm. The Giants already had arguably the best D line in the league, probably competing with the Rams. They just wasted that pick, but they're adding to their defense. I don't think it's a bad pick. So first of all, I don't even know what they're gonna do with Kavion, but again, this is adding to the depth of their D line. Not to mention, you're in a division where you've got to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and you've got this new kid on the block in Jaden Daniels. There's a lot of mobility in this division that you've got to deal with if you're the Giants. Getting Shador, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. It's clear as day they weren't interested in getting Shador or a quarterback in general. You get one of the best edge rushers out of this draft. You beef up your defense even more. You're going to have Russell Wilson be your starter. That defense is going to have to be the catalyst to carry them. It's not the first time we've seen a Giants defense be the catalyst to carry their team. You're adding to the defense. I don't think it's a bad play or a wasted pick because you're adding to your defense. You're in, again, not the AFC, the NFC East is starting to become more of a tougher division. Probably one of the best in the league. You've got arguably the best team in the NFL right now, a potential dynasty in the making in the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the uprising teams, the Washington Commanders, and when healthy, the Dallas Cowboys still have talent. If you're the Giants and you look at your state, you're going up against those high-octane offenses with mobile quarterbacks. You've got to have that guy as a pass rusher that can get to it. And you're going to have two of those now because they already have Kavion, so you're going to have two of those guys to try to get to the quarterback. That's not a bad pick. I don't think it's a bad pick for the Giants. Now, maybe it's a bit high to get a pass rusher in this case, but again, they weren't interested in getting a quarterback that they would probably have to sit for a year because he wasn't going to start over Russell Wilson. They just paid Russell Wilson, and they just paid Jameis Winston. Shador was just going to sit for a year or so. They're not interested in that. That's just how the Giants operate, man. If they were going to draft a quarterback, he would have to be ready to play. If they didn't have if Russell Wilson would have stayed with the Steelers and they didn't pick up Jameis Winston, the Giants would have reached for a quarterback. All right, let's see what the Patriots are taking here. They're going to get an offensive lineman here to try to protect Drake May. They're going offensive line here. They need to protect their young quarterback. We saw Drake May constantly running around during his rookie year. They've got to beef up that line to protect their young quarterback. I said it last year. They got to fix that O-line because Drake May cannot be running for his life. Get yourself a lineman. Get yourself a guy you put out there to protect Drake May. That's your investment. Think the Browns get Genty? No. I don't think they're. I don't, man, I'm gonna be coughing all night. This damn pollen. I don't think Genty's gonna go that high. I don't think he's gonna go that high within the top 5. Top 10, yeah, but top 5, no. If Browns get him, I'll be shocked. Then again, I don't know how they view Nick Chubb post-injury. If they feel he's not the same guy, they might reach for that. Because I don't know if there's any specific piece. I don't know if there's any defensive piece that majorly improves them. And there's no major offensive piece. Again, I don't think they're going to go quarterback. I do not see them going quarterback. Maybe Las Vegas goes quarterback. I don't see Cleveland getting Shador. Las Vegas might try to get Shador. I don't know. Honestly, Shador to Las Vegas actually makes sense considering Brady is part of that organization now. I think was he part owner or something? So it makes sense. Add pollen to it. It's no fun. Hope you get better. I'm gonna take some Benadryl once the draft is over. I can't take it now because I'll fall asleep. But I'm gonna get some Benadryl, try to get this cough going. Cleveland's pick is in. It is in, and we will see what Cleveland's gonna go with. Everyone seems satisfied in the room, so we'll see what they get. Look at these Patriots fans. They seem decently okay or decently satisfied with the pick. No celebrations there, or no major celebration. It's a decent pick. Again, offensive line is probably one of the most boring picks to get. Nobody cares about picking an offensive line. We want game changers. We want guys that can go make plays on offense or guys that can go make stops and plays on defense. Nobody cares about an offensive lineman. Nobody cares about an offensive lineman. But it's arguably the most important job. It's the most unappreciated job. It's the least talked about, but it's arguably the most important. So fans aren't going to be excited or hyped when your team drafts an offensive lineman. If we get a guard today, I don't think Ravens fans are going to be celebrating, woo, we got a guard. Nah, it's not an exciting pick, but it's a needed pick because we got to beef up our offensive line. Raiders got Geno Smith. They'll take maybe. Who's Cleveland's quarterback to start this year? Because Jameis is gone. Oh, Flacco's back. Flacco's back in Cleveland. So, would they draft? That would be nasty if they draft another quarterback to sit behind Flacco. And Flacco's like, oh, I got to deal with this. He's probably going to take my job too. Let's see what Cleveland's going to get here. All right, here we go. Yeah, not surprised. They want defense. Like I said, I didn't expect them to get Genty here. But anyway, let me take a look at the order. If there's any team I think could go get Genty, hell, if Las Vegas is not going for a quarterback, they could get Genty. The Browns screwed this up so bad. What would you have preferred them to get? They weren't gonna get a quarterback. They're not. No one's interested. I'm telling you right now. No, the quarterback class this year is not strong. Cam Ward was the only one people really wanted, and Shador Sanders is dropping right now. It seems like teams are just not interested in Shador. So that was not going to be a pick for Cleveland. Okay, an offensive tackle could have helped. Protecting Flacco would have been very, very important, especially because he's not a mobile quarterback. Well, we'll see how this works out for Cleveland, adding another piece of their defense. Tennessee Titans got Cam Ward. Yes, they did. Now the Raiders are up on the clock. As a Steelers fan, I'm praying Shador is still available at pick 21 because I hate being in a division where two teams have their guys, and we've been at quarterback hell since Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, I don't know if Shador's going to drop that far, and even if he does Pittsburgh want to draft Shador? It's not, again, right now things are not looking great. I think Shador's still going to get drafted in the first round, but apparently a lot of scouts have been dropping on him. They don't believe in his abilities. They don't believe in what they're seeing, and apparently they don't like his personality. They think he's too cocky or arrogant. They're not liking what they're seeing from Shador. So I don't know if Pittsburgh has that same mentality. He could drop the 21. Pittsburgh may pass on him too. Here we go. That was quick. They took Jetty. I was just talking about that. I'm like, the Raiders might take Jetty. They need a running back, Josh Jacobs. They had already given him up. It made sense. They had already given him up. They legitimately already given him up. Josh Jacobs to the Packers, so they needed a new back. It made sense. Genty to the Raiders made sense. I don't have any specific prospects to talk about. I just have sports positions. I don't care who you can get. The best of the best in this draft when they get there. Edge rusher, safety, corner, or offensive guard. Those are my four positions. I think Starks for safety is probably the one you're going to want to go for if they do take a safety. But yeah, I just got four positions. I don't care which position they choose to get. Get the best available player at the position of edge rusher, safety, corner, or guard. That's just we just need that. Those are our four spots of need. Jetty to Las Vegas makes sense, especially because they moved off of Josh Jacobs. Now they got their new guy back there. Great pick for the Raiders, especially since they had um moved off of Jacob, so they needed a they needed a new. Jeez, I'm gonna be coughing all night, guys. Sorry, they needed a new guy. Genty didn't play in a tough conference. Could Genty be a boom or bust type of back? I don't know. He has a talent. He has the talent to succeed. So this again, this could be an amazing pick that just leads to an explosive season for Genty and the start of an amazing career, or he could end up having some serious troubles. He's not in the besides, he's not in the toughest of divisions to play in. He's not in the toughest of divisions to play in. He's in a relatively tough division because other than the Chiefs, I don't know if you look at. Actually, then again, Denver has actually beefed up their defense. If this was 2 years ago, now I'm gonna take that statement back. I'm gonna take that statement back. If this was 2 years ago, the AFC West is food. But the Denver Broncos defense is much better now than it was 2 years ago. They may have their quarterback now, so that could be another danger. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, so that's going to be a problem. And that's another great defense. And then you look at the Chargers, and the Chargers aren't a great defense, but they are a really good defense when they need to. So he is technically in a tough division. He's in the tough division, so it's going to be tough. And obviously, the AFC is a tough conference overall. I still think he can be successful. He has the talents and he has the tools to succeed. So we'll see. Yeah, I know he played in a soft conference. I know he dominated, but he did play in a soft conference. So that's what I'm saying. He's going to a tougher division now in the NFL. Can he still thrive there? Because again, the Chiefs have a great defense. The Broncos have a great defense. And the Chargers have a really good defense. I know he was in a softer college. Yeah, he was in it's not softer college. He was in the softer conference. He wasn't in the tough conference. I know about that. He dominated, but he wasn't in the tough conference. I know about that. I'm saying he's going to a tough division, so it's probably not going a tough division that has great defensive teams, so it's not going to be the easiest of look for him. But again, I still believe he has the talent to thrive and the tools to succeed. We'll just see if that translates to success on the field. So I still think he can be successful with the Raiders. Even if the Raiders aren't winning a lot of games, I still think Genty's going to put up numbers. Hmm. Nah, that's nothing here. The Jets are up at 7. Their pick is in. Let's see what they are getting. They're gonna take an offensive tackle, so they're gonna beef up that offensive line for Justin Fields. Woo! Right now, I'm praying the Spurs don't get the number 1 pick. Flag and Victor will run the NBA and make the West more crazy than it needs to be. I hope that happens. I want to see the Spurs return to form. Not to mention, it's not like they would immediately take over. Victor's still young. He's slowly growing. He's slow, and by slowly growing, I mean he's already arrived. But like, he's slowly growing. Panthers pick is in, and it's going by fast. That's nice. You know, I actually want to see. Some people are saying New Orleans is gonna get a quarterback. I don't see Shador going there. I think they have their eyes on somebody else. We're gonna really see how far Shador is gonna drop. We're gonna see how far he goes. Ooh, this is nasty. Why are they showing the failures of the Jets draft picks? Oh, come on, bro. This is crazy. Why are you showing the Jets failures? At least the Jets don't have to worry about another quarterback to be drafted. Like, oh, maybe work out this time. No, you got Justin Fields. You already know that. Don't think it's going to be anything significant in terms of this draft pick, but we'll see. We'll see. You're getting protection for Justin Fields. That matters. Panthers pick is in, though, so we'll see. We will see. Hope Bryce Young gets better. I hope he got better. New season's coming up. I don't need to hear get. I need to hear got. Yeah, yeah. It's not that long before everyone's got a report. So yeah, I hope he got better during the off season because the season started now. It's up to him to go out there and show what he can do. Hey, that's a nasty night. The Knicks, they're really fighting right now. Yeah, he almost beat the two teams that will eventually make the Super Bowl. That's progress. Well, yeah, it's not going to translate to the following year, but you hope that he at least keeps that overall aspect. My God, the Knicks are in a freaking battle with the Pistons. The Pistons won't go away. The pick is in for Carolina. Shador's still on the. I'm kidding. We know this. New Orleans is the only one you look at and say, "Hey, they may go for that," but like, we're not gonna pretend that New Orleans. What would New Orleans add here? I think they may want to continue to bolster up their defense, but honestly, I'd add an offensive lineman just to continue to protect Bryce Young. And one right there. Man, Bridges is not Bridges. The Knicks are doing everything they can to try to push off the Pistons. The Pistons refuse to go away, but the Knicks they're still trying to continue the any level of momentum they can get. They're gonna add a receiver, gonna give Bryce Young another weapon. I would have preferred boosting up that offensive line, but it's never a wrong thing to add another weapon to that offense for Bryce. The first receiver taken off the board here is McMillan. Congrats to the young man. He is going to Carolina. Best of luck there. Hopefully, you'll be a reliable weapon for Bryce. They took a receiver. I thought I would have. Well, I'm not gonna say I thought, but I would have preferred if they took an offensive lineman to further bolster up the protection for Bryce Young. But they took a wide receiver. Not a terrible pick. Again, adding weapons for Bryce to be able to throw to doesn't hurt. But I would prefer if his offensive line was where it needed to be. But this is what it is. New Orleans is on the clock. New Orleans is on the clock. The Knicks are starting to extend this. Back to back and ones here. Honestly, thought the Browns would trade for Kirk Cousins till they forgot. Till I forgot they brought Flacco back. They're not taking on that contract like that. The Saints pick is in. They got Flacco. They're good. Knicks are in command right now. Let's see if the Saints go quarterback here. All right. Hey. Oh, wow. The Saints took an offensive lineman. They do not go quarterback here. Interesting. Thought they might have gone QB. I'm surprised. I thought they might have gone quarterback, but no. Sorry about that. Gotta get my oranges. But I'm surprised. I I thought they would have potentially gone quarterback. Bears up and the pick is in. Dallas is there at 12. Maybe they take Shador. Who knows? But taking Shador for what? I don't think Dallas is moving off of Dak just yet. The defense by the Pistons there. Oh, look at that foul. Relax, they'll draft Quinn Edwards in the fourth round. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Wikipedia.org. Alexa, silence. Yeah, Cowboys have the worst running back room maybe in NFL history. They got to go Hampton. They got to get a running back, man. If Genty would have been there, they would have taken him. Absolutely. Cowboys got to go running back. Bears pick is in, so we'll see what happens here. For what? Okay. Okay, we don't need to talk about the rookies. We're just talking about schedule release. Oh, wow. May 14th. That's like, what, 3 weeks ago? May 14th for the schedule release. Yeah, I didn't need to make this, what is this, a 3-4 minute segment? All right. Chicago's picks in. Here comes Goodell. This third quarter is coming to an end, and it is a 6-point game. Here we go. Hmm, 50-year anniversary of Walter Payton being selected to draft. Interesting. Here we go. The Bears have taken Colston Loveland, a tight end, has been taken off the board. You think Walter Payton is the GOAT of running backs? Arguably, yeah. Many would say yeah. Chicago adding to their tight end room here. Now you got the Niners on the clock. Niners up on the clock here at 11. Here comes the Niners here. Niners on the clock. Their pick is already in. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, let me go handle my business. That's what the draft's about. Handling business in between these picks. Hey, Vay. Hey. That was not what I was supposed to do. Oh, well. Our Ravens found on LSD. Andrews isn't getting traded. He drops that pass, and everyone want to think he's going to be on a new team this season. The only reason I think the conversation that's being brought up about Andrews isn't because of the drop pass, it's because of the contract that he has. The money he's due this year, was it about 12, 13 million? He's due a lot of money. And the conversations about him being traded is because he's due that money. And Isaiah likely is going to be up for a contract. So people are wondering, are the Ravens willing to pay that much money for Mark Andrews instead of trading him? Which again is a fair question because there's been conversations and discussions as to whether or not the Ravens are actually going to move on from Mark Andrews. Now, there's definitely been fans that have absolutely sat back and said, "Oh yeah, trade Mark Andrews specifically because of the drop pass." But a lot of conversations that have been surrounding Mark Andrews when it comes to the specific trade talks have been because of his contract and what he's gonna be owed this year, and will it be something the Ravens potentially think about moving on from, specifically because he's going to be owed a lot of money this year. So it's less about the drop in the playoff game and more about the Ravens in terms of whether or not they want to pay that type of money for Mark Andrews, which is a fair question. I don't know what they're going to go with, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't expect them to get traded, but you never know how things go in the NFL. You never know how it goes with these teams. Sometimes you think they're gonna go one way and they end up going an entirely different way. That's just how it goes. The Bucks pick is in. Very possible that this could be the case. Maybe he goes to the Steelers. Who knows? Will Pittsburgh draft Shador? If Pittsburgh doesn't take Shador, I don't know if he's going to get drafted in the first round specifically. But if you're Shador Sanders, you're fine with this. As long as you continue to drop, you could potentially go to a great team. All right, what's the Bucks picks here? Emeka Ibuka, okay. They take a wide receiver to add to their room. Interesting pick. Sure. I mean, again, these are always loaded questions that you throw up. I guess you're the new person on the channel, John, to ask me these loaded questions because I constantly get questions like this. This is a loaded question because you say anything that could go to anything. I can end up doing something bad in order to stop another bad thing. You can end up doing one bad thing just to stop another bad thing from happening. Like I might have to kidnap someone. I might have to, put somebody to bed in order to stop that. And I'm never a fan of loaded questions because it's never just as simple as, oh yeah, well, you just have to dedicate yourself to the cause, help out, something positive in order to help out. It's always a loaded question. That's when you say you'll do anything, it can expand to anything. So yeah, sure, I guess. It's always a loaded question. It's never a safe question. It's always set up like, how much are you willing to sacrifice to get this? And I'm never a fan of those questions. Denver is on the board here at 20th overall. Obviously, they're not getting anybody major. All eyes on number 21. Shador could be coming to the AFC North. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback, and Shador might be the answer. What's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you stopping by, Kilo. Who do you think we're drafting? I think it's Derek Harmon. I don't have an idea about who specifically we're drafting. I just put out four positions that we need to look at. One of those four better be filled up tonight. Pass rusher, edge rusher, safety, corner, guard. It's probably going to be more towards pass rusher or safety, but we got to get one of those four spots. Whatever it is whatever it is, but it has to be one of those four spots. So yeah, edge rusher, safety, corner, and offensive guard. Those are the four positions I got. But we'll see. I don't have a specific pick. I just got those four spots. So if they take an edge rusher, I'm fine. If they take a safety, I'm fine. They take a corner, I'm fine. They take an offensive lineman, I'm also fine. But that's just how it has to. That's just how it's gonna go. At the end of the day, that's just how it goes to me. What are those four spots? We'll see what EDC wants to do. Denver's still on the clock. Their pick is not in just yet. Will Shador Sanders continue to fall? Honestly, it's possible. But if there's any place he can go in the first round, it's 21 at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. It just depends on how they view Shador. If they view Shador as a quarterback they can draft, they will take him. But Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. And considering how far he's dropped, if he doesn't get taken at 21, he's not getting drafted in the first round. Josh is perfectly fine with the situation. He has no problem with it. She's an actress. I'm not about to answer a question about how a man feels about his fiance doing her job as an actress. Josh Allen's not the first athlete that's dated or been engaged to a celebrity that's doing their job on screen. It's a job. She's an actress. She's doing her job. Okay? He has no reason to be mad. He knows what she's doing. He already knew what she was doing before he got with her. He knew what she was doing. Okay, at this point, if that's the mindset everyone's going to have, why would you date an actress? If you're going to have that mindset, why would you date an actress in the first place? You know she's going to do that job. So, no, he already knows what she does. He's fine with it. He has no problem with it. At the end of the day, it's a job. She's an actress. She's doing her job. There's no problem there. If anyone has a problem with that, don't date an actress because you know what they're going to do. Denver's pick is in. Could someone trade up for him like the Browns and Giants are not interested in him. They're not. They would have drafted him when they had the chance. The Browns literally made a, they ended up trading with the Jags. Jags moved up to 2, gave up a few picks and a first round pick of next year. The Browns moved down to 5 and still passed on Shador. They're not interested in him. The Giants had him there at 5. They didn't take him. I don't think Shador is going to be picked up in the first round if Pittsburgh doesn't take him. Just taking a look at this order. Let me see this right here. We got Pittsburgh at 21, Chargers at 22. Packers don't need a quarterback. Vikings aren't going to draft a quarterback. Houston doesn't need one. LA doesn't need one. Baltimore doesn't need one. Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philly. Yeah, if he's not taken at 21, he's probably not getting drafted in the first round. Maybe you have a surprise at the end. One shocker, a team trades back into the first round to take Shador. I don't know. But Cleveland, if they wanted him, they would have taken him at 5. The Giants had him at 4 too. They didn't take him. I'm sorry, not at 4, at 3. They didn't take him. The Giants didn't take him. The Browns didn't take him. They don't seem interested in Shador. Pittsburgh is in need of a quarterback. If he's going to be drafted, it will be with Pittsburgh. If they don't draft him, he's probably not going to be a first rounder today. Do the Bucks have the worst pick so far? I mean, they got a receiver to add to their depth. Don't think it's the worst pick, honestly. Then again, he wasn't needed, so I mean, it's just adding to the depth. Broncos adding another corner to further bolster defense. Not a bad move for them. Defense is their bread and butter. At least they're trying to make it their bread and butter right now. Trying to bolster that defense. That works out, man. That's a good pick for them. That's what you would want. If you're Denver, to continue to bolster that defense for the most part, the defense has to be their bread and butter. Obviously, if you remember what happened in the wildcard round against Buffalo, that defense got torn apart by Josh Allen and the Bills in the second half of that game. So if you're going to compete in the AFC, you need that. And you're saying Broncos with a bad pick too. They're just adding to their defense. You saw what their defense did against Josh Allen and Josh Allen's offense. They got picked apart. That secondary got toyed with. And yes, you already got Sutton there. But Jesus Christ, my freaking mind is just not thinking right now. Why am I not thinking of his name right now? Why am I not thinking of his name right now? He's, God, I'm just. Oh my God. Why am I going blank right now? Why am I freaking? That was wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Sertan, yeah, Pat Sertan. So yeah, I know they already have Pat Sertan. They're just bolstering their defense. That defense got picked apart by Josh Allen. They're just adding to the further depth of that defense because their secondary has to be able to hang with some of the biggest, with some of the best players and some of the best teams in the league. You know that defense has got picked apart. Got picked apart by Buffalo. When they play Baltimore, that defense got picked apart. They need their secondary to be as strong as it can be. And adding another corner there to pair up with Satan isn't a bad look. So saying corner's not a need for them. Dude, it's not always about getting a need. Sometimes it's about drafting the best available player. They're adding to their team. Let's not forget, we did this in 2022 with Cal Hamilton. Cal Hamilton was not a need. They needed an offensive lineman. They got the best player available. They got a corner to pair with Pat Surtain. Not every team is going to draft immediately based on need. So we shouldn't automatically assume just because they didn't draft based on need, automatically it's a bad pick. Sometimes you get the best player available to add to a certain aspect of your defense or add to a certain aspect of your team to improve that. People said the same thing when Kyle Hamilton was drafted. He was not a need. People thought it was a bad pick. We sat here and all talked about this. We needed an offensive lineman because we were coming off of a year where Lamar Jackson got hurt. His offensive line was not good. They weren't doing a great job protecting him. We all went into that draft saying, we need to get an offensive lineman. We'd settle for a pass rusher, but we need to get an offensive lineman. What ended up happening? They drafted Kyle Hamilton. People immediately said it was a bad pick because he wasn't a need. We already had safeties figured out. Not every time you pick is automatically going to be a position of need. It's not always going to be the case. It's about getting the best player available or the best fit for what works for your team. Either you get the best player available or you get what best fits for what you're looking for. They're looking to improve their secondary. Their secondary got cooked last year against some of these high-octane teams. The Ravens cooked their secondary when they matched up. In the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills, that secondary got cooked. They add another corner to help out with that so their secondary is not getting cooked. Either way, Steelers picks in. I don't think it's a bad pick. We'll see how it works out. It's got to be Shador. Oh, my God. They didn't take a quarterback. My God. Shador's not getting drafted in the first round. Someone would have to trade up. The rest of these teams don't need a quarterback. Shador is not getting drafted in the first round unless somebody trades up. Wow. Oh my God. Now they're bringing in another guy to just be a wrecker on the defense, which is just what Pittsburgh just hangs their head on. Not really surprised there, but wow. They didn't reach, man. They didn't reach. People were afraid. I saw Steelers fans praying they wouldn't even attempt to draft Milrow. People were praying that they didn't draft Milrow. Some were or half and half about Shador if he was to drop, but people said if Shador gets drafted and Milrow's right there and somebody attempts to get Milrow, it's going to be a problem. So Milrow's not drafted yet, and neither is Sanders. This is crazy. Wow. They took a pass rusher. Wow. So Pittsburgh's just gonna go all in on Aaron Rodgers, I guess. Because you have to have if Aaron Rodgers says no, the Steelers have nothing happening this season. They can't compete for a title because Mason Rudolph's not going to do anything for them. Wow. I'm surprised. At this point, unless a trade up happens, there's no way Shador is getting drafted in the first round at this point. You literally need somebody to trade up. I'm shocked. Knowing Pittsburgh needed a quarterback, they chose not to get a quarterback. They don't feel comfortable with getting Shador right. He's right there. He dropped. Shador dropped in this draft, and they said no. I don't know if he's going to get drafted in the first round. I'm being dead serious. I am not sure Shador Sanders is going to get drafted in the first round. At this point, I really have to question that. I don't know if he's going to get drafted in the first round. This is shocking. This is really surprising. I did not expect to see this happen. And again, I'm looking at this list. None of these other teams need a quarterback. So Shador, unless some team trades up at the end of the first round, like a situation with Lamar happened back in 2018, unless somebody trades up, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. The Chargers at 22, the Packers at 23, the Vikings at 24, the Texans at 25, Rams at 26, Ravens at 27, Lions at 28, Commanders at 29, Bills at 30, Chiefs at 31, Eagles at 32. Wow. I don't know how Steelers feel about this. They're happy they didn't get Milroe. They did not want Milroe. But the fact that Shador Sanders dropped and they didn't take them? This is crazy. I'm lost for words. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Well, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign and Mason Rudolph is the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers come September, then Steelers fans have to pray. They have to actively pray their team just like loses this year. They can't finish with a winning record here. They've got to lose this season. They got to. Next year's draft is expected to be good. Expect to be really good in terms of the quarterbacks. So if they're looking towards next year, that's fine. You think Mike Green will fall to us? He has a shot. He has a shot. We'll see. He has a shot. We're up at 27 and we're at 22 right now. He has a shot. He has a shot. I still think they may go for Starks because it seems like they really like that guy. But again, I don't know. Shador still being available, but again, the Chargers don't need a core. Minnesota's not the only one where you were like, okay, maybe, but no, they clearly show that they're devoted to okay. Oh, they were talking about the Chargers, trying to understand what they were doing. But yeah, the only place you would look is the Vikings. But the Vikings are okay with McCarthy. Like they're going with JJ. They're okay with him. They're okay with him. They're not interested in getting another quarterback. Yeah, Shador might drop out of the first round because there's nowhere else to look. None of these other teams need a quarterback. A 96% chance Shador was going to be drafted by the 21st pick. And now we're sitting here at the 22nd pick. All these other teams don't need a quarterback, and he is not selected. At this point, unless somebody trades back into the first round, there is no way Shador is getting drafted. All these other teams have their quarterbacks. They're not going to draft him. I just love being stuck on the quarterback carousel. It's so much fun. Definitely not sarcasm. Dude, at this point, if you're a Steelers fan, you better hope you don't get Aaron Rodgers, and you better hope that Mason Rudolph is garbage enough for you guys to lose enough games to be within a top 10 pick to try to get yourself a quarterback next year. Because the belief is that next year's quarterback draft should be great, which means you'll have a chance at a quarterback. Shador's probably going to drop into the second round, which, again, is fine. You know, not everyone's going to be that first round pick. So it's fine. It's okay. As long as you're still drafted somewhere, it's all right. And if you're not drafted, if someone's willing to give you a chance, that's still fine. Shador's probably just not going to be drafted tonight. A lot of these teams were not willing to reach. They weren't interested. Could the Ravens or some team trade for Pickens so we can get a second round pick? Ravens ain't trading for Pickens, so that's just not going to happen. And you might be able to get something out of Pickens, but I don't think the Steelers are going to trade him. But man, this is wild. Have the Steelers and Ravens ever made a trade? Yeah, they made a trade. They made a trade before. It was like a while back. It's a small trade for it's a small trade for something. I can't remember who the player was, but he went from like the Ravens to the Steelers like a while back. Chargers pick is in. We'll see what it is. Yeah, he's dropping, huh? Pittsburgh about to turn into Benghazi if they don't draft Jason Dart in the third. They're going to draft the quarterback. They're just not willing to use their first round pick on drafting a quarterback. They will draft a quarterback one way or another. But that is surprising. Interesting what the Chargers are going to go with here. What does Jim want out of this? He might go offensive lineman. And again, Herbert could use some weapons. They took a run. Oh, Amarian. Interesting. What is that going to mean for Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins? I don't even know if they're still on the rosters. Are they free agents? Let me check that. I don't know. Let me see. All right, so J.K. Dobbins is a free agent. That means J.K. Dobbins most certainly is not coming back. Oh, they do got not. Wait. Najee went to the Chargers? Hold on. He did. So why did they go back? Why did they take a running back here? If anything, I would have preferred to have gotten another weapon, like a receiver for Justin Herbert. Just add to the weapons there. Why would you go running back here? I'm surprised Jim went with this. And it's not like Najee Harris is this game changer. You know what? This is a Greg Roman pick. This has got to be a Greg Roman pick. He wants to add as many running backs as possible. This is a Greg Roman pick. This is absolutely a Greg Roman pick. This has got to be a Greg Roman pick. So now Hampton's probably going to be the guy, and it's going to be alternating between him and Najee. This has to be a Greg Roman pick. Bears taking Loveland screwed the Chargers over. Screwed them over to the point where they said, let's take a running back. That's a Greg Roman pick. That's got to be a Greg Roman pick. I'm surprised. Taking a running back, I'm surprised. I just don't know if that would have been the pick there. And how often do you see a running back really going first? Genty was gonna be drafted in the first round. Compton had a great year, so it's not exactly like it's not like it's a situation where he doesn't deserve it. But I'm just surprised the Chargers are the ones that made that move. Man, yeah, I'm surprised. See what the Packers are gonna take here. Adding to your defense would be good. If they take a corner, that might mean if they take a corner, Jair might be released. If they take a corner, Jair may actually be released. They really go corner here. It might be Jair that potentially ends up in potentially ends up being released. They go corner, might be the case, but we'll see. You think the Ravens could take Will Johnson if he's there? He's a possibility. Still waiting on the Packers here to make a decision on somebody. There's got to be a corner here, maybe. Remember when you talked about the Ravens drafting the best available instead of what they need? Kyle overall T. Does the Steelers tonight count as well? A defensive tackle over a quarterback? They did add a great player who's arguably best available over a position of need. I think for the Steelers, it's gonna depend on whether or not they get a quarterback in the later rounds. Because if they end up getting, let's say Shador drops further and further these days in the second round, they may take him. If they get a quarterback in this draft, at the end of the day, they still would have drafted a quarterback, and they got arguably the best player available for them. It can apply. At the end of the day, it depends on how things age, but it can certainly apply, especially if they get a quarterback in the later rounds. The Ravens did the same thing with Kyle Hamilton, and they still ended up getting an offensive lineman at the end of the day in Lindebaum. Oh yeah, true. Okay, then yeah. I mean, third, well, they could always trade up. They go always trade some picks to get back into the second round. Depends on if the Steelers want to do that. I don't know how many total picks they have, but they could use some of those third round pick. If they're able to find a way to trade back into the second round, they could. Or they could just take any random quarterback that they can get in the third round or the fourth round and just go with that. I don't know. Anyway, the Packers pick is in. Uh, we'll see who Green Bay chooses to take here. If they draft a corner, Jair's future in Green Bay is going to look relatively bleak. They draft a corner, there's a high chance he's not going to be there this season. So let me see. Hmm. Let's see where they go with this. Okay. Uh huh. What's the pick? That's great. What is the pick? Oh my god. What is the pick, man? Oh my god. God. They got their wide receiver? Oh crap. They took a wide receiver. Wow. For the first time since what, 2002? The Packers have drafted a first round receiver. Wow. Yeah, it's weird like that in Wisconsin. I am surprised. They haven't drafted a wide receiver in a long time. There's a lot of pressure on you, bro. You're the first wide receiver drafted in what? Um, 23 years? Best of luck to this guy in Green Bay, man. They added another weapon for Jordan Love to utilize to help boost that offense. Not going to help out with their defense, but you know, this is what it is. Their defense did a relatively good job against the Eagles in the wild card round, so I guess they feel comfortable with what they see. Now, Jair sticks around, it's fine. If he doesn't, that's a different conversation. I don't know if he's going to. Vikings are on the clock. We'll see what happens here. We've only had one trade so far in this draft, which is surprising because you usually get like three or four. There's still time, though. There is still time, so we are going to see. Literally, everyone I wanted the Ravens to get fell. Uh, Rams could get Shador. I don't think they're interested in getting a quarterback. They're fine with Stafford for now. I don't think they're interested in getting a quarterback. So no, I don't think they. It's not about can they get. He's gonna be there. So it's not about can they get him. It's if they want to get him. I don't think they're gonna draft a quarterback right now. I don't think it's within the cards for them or within interest for them to get a quarterback right now. Vikings pick is in. Of course, it's a warm welcome. It's the first round wide receiver they've had since what 2002. Hopefully, hopefully, buddy. Hopefully that works out, man. Green Bay can't afford to spend money on a first round. Well, spend a draft pick on a first round wide receiver, and he doesn't work. Now cause Green Bay to say, let's not get another first round wide receiver for like another 20 years. Vikings pick is in. We'll see what happens here soon. Where is this thing? Oh man, wait. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put you right here. We're gonna wait. The Packers have so many receivers, though. I don't know where he'll fit on the depth chart. Right at the top. You don't spend money on you don't spend a first round draft pick if you're not gonna play him. He'll be right at the top. He will be right at the top. Excuse me. He'll be right at the top. They invested a first round pick on him. He's gonna play. You don't draft him first round if he's not gonna play. And apparently Jaw is hurt, so that's not a good thing. It's a really bad thing here. All right, what you got, Vikings? So Vikings gonna take an offensive guard here, improving the offensive line for McCarthy. At this point, I don't think Baltimore is gonna go offensive guard. At this state, it's gonna be defense. It's absolutely gonna be defense at this point. Oh, okay. Giants just traded back into the first round. If this is not for Shador, I don't know what it is. If they're trading back up for the first, this has got to be for Shador. It has to be for Shador. If they're gonna trade back into the first round, it's got to be for Shador. It has to be for Shador. It makes no sense to trade. No, this has got to be for Shador. This has got to be for Shador. This has 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 got to be for Shador, man. This has got to be for Shador. They watched that Rams game and said, nah. Well, yeah, couldn't, wasn't really doing much in protecting Sam Darnold. So they said, we got to continue to bolster that. This got to be Shador. This has got to be, got to be Shador. The pick is in for the Giants. This should be interesting. We can get Will Johnson. We have a lot of opportunity here at the end of the first round to get whoever we want. This has got to be Shador. This has got to be Shador, man. Let's see what the Giants are going to go here with. Baltimore's at 27, so we should be coming up soon. The Rams need a corner. They'll probably take Johnson. Potentially. Woo. This has got to be Shador. Here we go. They took Dart. They took Dart. They took Dart over Shador. Oh my God. They took Jackson Dart over Shador Sanders. Wow. They took Dart over Shador. Wow. I'm shocked. Wow. Rams pick is in, by the way. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. A trade here. The Rams traded with the Falcons. The Falcons are now on the clock with a pick. Wow, the Rams just trade now. This is crazy. So that Texas traded with the Giants. They traded out of the first round, and now the Rams have traded out of the first round. This is crazy. Wow. They took Dart over Shador. The Shador slander is crazy. I'm telling you, they did not like the way he chooses that the cocky arrogant nature, the cocky arrogant nature. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. They didn't like it, and that's a big part of why they chose not to trade. That's a big part of why no one chose to take him. Maybe they didn't like his intangibles. Maybe they don't like some of the extensive plays he makes. Maybe they just don't like his personality. Maybe they don't like his leadership. I don't know what it is, but dog, I could have sworn Shador was going to be drafted in the first round. Wow. Wow. Shador Sanders. This is going to be a conversation tomorrow. Shador Sanders falling out of the first round. Giants first round quarterbacks since, oh yeah, Phil Simms in 1979, 2004 Philip Rivers, which they later traded to get Eli Manning, Daniel Jones in 2019, and now Jackson Dart with the 25th pick. These are their first round quarterbacks. Wow. Falcons pick is in, ladies and gentlemen. Falcons pick is in. damn it! Son of a... Take a safety. Take a safety. Take a safety. You mother. Take a safety. Take a safety. You... Oh, I was sitting here in silence. I'm like, bro, we can... He's going to drop to us. Oh, my... No. Take Starks. You know what? Forget it. Is Green still here? Is Mike Green still here? Has Mike Green been drafted? Screw it. We got a chance. You know, take Mike Green. It's cool. Take Green or Starks. I low-key wanted Pierce. I thought he would drop there, and I thought we would take him. But you know what? Screw it. Mike Green's right there, man. He's still on the board. Let's just take Mike Green and let's go on. Mike Green, take Green or Starks. Ravens on the board. Take Green or Starks. Ravens on the board. Take Green or Starks. Green is here. Okay, him or Starks. Take Green or Starks. I'm fine with either or. Take Green or Starks. You can live with the result. Take Green or Starks. Ravens on the board right now. We'll see what we do with it. They took two edge rushers in the first. Falcons know they got to bolster that defense. That's good for them. Falcons actually investing in their defense in the first round. Way to go, Atlanta. You're actually learning something. Take Green or Starks. Take Green or Starks. That's all I got to say. Take Green or Starks. Ain't got to talk about nothing else right now. Take Green or Starks. Ravens on the clock here. So Ravens on the board right now. We can take Starks. Green or Starks. I'll live with the results. Green or Starks. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of wanted to see. I wanted Pierce. I wanted Pierce down there. Give us a good chance. I really would have liked a shot at getting Pierce. But Atlanta's actually making some smart moves here. I can't even hate right now. Just making some smart moves. Ravens pick is in. The Ravens pick is officially in. We'll see what this is going to be. Green or Starks? I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even say who I was hoping we would get. I was kind of leaning towards Pierce because that was the only one I was actually hearing about the last few weeks, and I saw some footage of him. And I'm like, bro, he's got great fundamentals. I wouldn't have mind Pierce, but Green's still here. You know, I'm not mad at Green being here. This pick better be Green or Starks. It better be Green or Starks. It's most likely gonna be Starks because they want to let Kyle Hamilton roam in the secondary. But I'll take, bro. This has got to be Green or Starks. It's got to be Green or Starks, man. Let's not play around here. Let's not play around here. Green or Starks? There we go. Ravens. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Green or Starks? Green or Starks? Green or Starks? This better be Starks or Green. Don't play around, Baltimore. There it is. 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 It was going to be Green or Starks. I can take it. I could take it. It was going to be Green or Starks. Starks has actually been the topic of discussion going to the Ravens for like the last month. If he fell, that was going to be the case. They wanted to pair Starks up alongside Kyle Hamilton, and you brought back Darius Washington. So now, this is what Baltimore is going to do. Starks is going to be paired alongside Washington, and you're going to let Kyle Hamilton roam. That's exactly what they wanted to do. So now you've got the exact aspect you want in your secondary. Obviously, I still want a pass rusher. That's not going to change. But at the end of the day, we need that secondary to be fixed up, and we don't need Kyle Hamilton to be chainsawed. So it was gonna be, it had to, if it wasn't Starks, it had to be Green. They needed to make the right decision, and they made the right decision. This is a great pick. Literally only a disappointed kid. I'm watching the Clippers game. Players don't lose due to lack of talent. They need a sports therapist and a new head coach. That's fair. Lions pick is in. But yeah, same old Ravens. Kevin, I'm not mad at this one. Again, I felt that it was one of two. They needed a safety or a pass rusher. We've talked about this for a while. They want Kyle Hamilton to go back to that spot he was in 2023. They want a roamer. They want to play three safeties. That was a conversation. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I think it's a good pick at the end of the day. Green was right there too. I felt that you had it to my two picks when I made my live stream, my top two choices for the Ravens, pass rusher or safety. Pass rusher or safety. That first round pick had to be utilized on a pass rusher or safety. Again, Adrian, at the end of the day, the top two choices for the Ravens in this draft that they needed to get, pass rusher or safety. If you're mad that they didn't take a pass rusher over safety, I guess that's fair because I thought pass rusher was number one and safety was number two. But they absolutely needed a safety. They absolutely needed a safety. You forgot how bad our pass defense was last year. Our secondary was so poor, Kyle Hamilton had to go back to free safety just to manage that. Not to mention, Marcus Williams is gone. So we don't really have a lot of depth at the safety position. At the end of the day, the Ravens want to go back to running 3 safeties the way they did in 2023 because that allows Kyle Hamilton to be the most effective. Safety was a need. It was one of the needs. Now, again, we can argue, was it more of a need over a pass rusher? I don't know if that's exactly the case, but I said safety was number 2. I had pass rusher as the number 1 need for the Ravens. Safety is the number 2 need. So I'm not exactly mad at the pick because I said it had to be one or the other. And I've been sitting here saying, hey, get me a pass rusher or get me a safety. It was a pass rusher or safety. I feel we need a safety more than a cornerback. I felt we needed a safety more than the cornerback. Our safety depth is not there. Our safety depth is not there. They at least signed a veteran. We needed a corner. We could use a corner, but they signed a corner already who's at least a veteran. They did go on free agency and get a corner. We don't have anybody at safety. Not to mention, for the better part of the last 2 weeks, we didn't even know if our Darius Washington was going to fully come back. So our safety aspect was incredibly thin. Safety was the number 2 need. Safety was the number 2 need. Pass rusher was the number 1 need. Corner was number 3 in my opinion. I had pass rusher, safety, corner. As long as they got one of these 3 in the first round, I was going to be fine with it. They got a safety that fills up a spot of need. Marcus Williams is gone. That depth has now been filled, and now you can play 3 safeties. You've got our Darius Washington on one side, Starks on the other side, and now you get to have Kyle Hamilton go back to that same role he was in 2023, which allows him to roam on the defense and do whatever he wants. Whether he wants to rush the passer, whether he wants to cover the flat, whether he wants to cover cover a tight end or cover a wide receiver. He's able to roam on the defense now because now you've got those 2 safeties here. So this is a great pick. Good job by EDC. At the end of the day, you needed to get one of the needs. What would have pissed me off is if they would have ended up getting a wide receiver or a running back. But at the end of the day, they needed one of those big 3. Adrian, it's not a bad aspect. We do need a pass rusher. And again, I understand where you're coming from. Pass rusher was number 1. Corner is number 3. The Ravens can still get a pass rusher in the corner, but they needed one of 3 things in this first round. Pass rusher, safety, corner. So they did get the best available safety, and they got a guy that was needed. So again, I don't think you should be mad in terms of getting the safety and saying, okay, it was a wasted pick because we don't need it. Because it was one of the 3 biggest needs we needed. We needed a safety. So it's not a bad pick. Now again, argument could be made. We probably could have got a pass rusher over safety. But the fact of the matter is our safety situation was so terrible because Marcus Williams provided you with nothing. They needed to replace that. So this is a great pick by EDC. You got one of your 3 biggest needs. The Lions pick Tyleik Williams. They're gonna get a defensive tackle here. So yeah, I don't see this as a bad aspect. I hope I'm wrong. I don't like I'm saying, you just don't like. Do you not like the pick, or do you not like that we just got a safety in general? Do you not like the specific player, or do you not like the fact that we got a pick and that we got? Do you not like the player itself, or are you mad that we just got a safety instead? Because you said corner. I don't think corner would have been a precedent over safety or pass rusher. In terms of the biggest needs the Ravens had, pass rusher is number 1, safety is number 2, corner is number 3. They addressed the corner situation by going out and getting a veteran corner. They're still going to draft a corner, but the corner was not needed more than a safety because we didn't have any safeties. We had Kyle Hamilton for much of the last month. It was Kyle Hamilton, Bo, and that was pretty much it. You didn't have our Darius Washington signed yet, so they needed a safety. So I don't think this is a situation where we should look at it and say, man, they needed a corner more than they needed a safety. No, they needed a safety more than they needed a corner. That doesn't mean they won't draft a corner, but a safety was needed more than a corner. They didn't do anything in free agency to bring in a safety. So they were going to go out there relatively with 2 guys and just hope for the best. So I think, again, we'll see. But I would definitely look at this and say it's a great pick. Starks was projected to the Ravens for a while now. This is going to allow Kyle Hamilton to roam and do what he wants to do now defensively. which is going to improve the secondary all around. I also said pass rusher. Again, I agree with you. Pass rusher is number one. The way I had it ranked coming into this, pass rusher was the number one need. Number two need was safety. Number three need was cornerback. So they got the number two need. I don't think it's bad. If they would have taken a corner over a safety or a pass rusher, I would have felt a little peeved. But again, it was a spot that was needed. So I'll sit back and say this was a great pick by the Ravens. Um, they did what they needed to do. They got a spot of need, but we'll see. We'll see. They can still get a pass rush. You'll just have to be in the second round. But they did get a position of need. Craziness, 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 craziness. All right. Woo! The Commanders are on the board as well at 29. Now, if there's a team that really needs a corner, this is the team. Get a corner, Washington. Get a corner. I've never seen this pick late. That's the crazy part. Like again, being this late in the draft with the Commanders is crazy. They gotta get a corner here. Commanders pick is in. Where do you think Shador Sanders is gonna get drafted to? He's probably gonna be a second round draft pick, and he could end up in Cleveland or Pittsburgh. They might grab him in the second round. Cleveland or Pittsburgh might legitimately get him in the second round. All right, Commanders pick is in. This better be a corner. We need to invest in this defense. Start with the corner corner here. Secondary sucks. They need a corner. So yeah, I think Shador could potentially go second round to maybe Cleveland or Pittsburgh, depending on how things go. Get a corner, Washington. You got to get a corner. This secondary stunk last year. They performed better down the stretch, but our corners was still not great. Our corners overall was still not great. Get a corner. Get a corner. Get a corner. Listen, Mike Green is awesome. Okay, he's awesome. I wouldn't be mad if the Commanders take Mike Green, but I would prefer us to get a corner here because the secondary stinks. Please invest in the secondary here. Defense, defense, defense. You lost the NFC Championship game because your defense, because your secondary couldn't cover anything. Here we go. You know what? I understand. I understand wanting to protect Jaden Daniels. So building the offensive line is one of the top priorities. I'm not. I don't hate the pick. I don't think the pick is garbage. It is smart to invest in the offensive line to protect Jaden Daniels because we need to make sure he is okay. It's a good pick. Hopefully, he'll help continue to bolster this offensive line so that Jaden Daniels can get all the protection he possibly can. But again, this secondary cannot do anything significant against Philadelphia. I would have preferred a defensive player here. I was screaming it. Defense, defense, defense. You need to get defensive players. I was hopeful they would have spent this first round pick getting a defensive guy. I'm not I'm not angry, I'm not pissed off, I don't hate the pick. It's just I would have preferred a defensive player here. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You want to invest in protecting Jaden Daniels, and I completely understand. I'm not mad at the aspect. I'm not mad at the decision. I can live with it. Hopefully he works out, and hopefully he is able to protect Jaden Daniels. Hopefully he does a good job on the offensive line, but you got Mike Green right there to help out the D line, which struggles to stop the run, especially when against Philadelphia. You have a secondary that needed major assistance because they can't cover anybody, and you're going up against Philly, and it's just like I would have preferred a defensive player here. Oh boy, the Bills are about to get a major pass rusher here. They about to get a major pass rusher here. You can tell they're gonna get a major pass rusher here, and nobody will be surprised. Bill's about to get a legitimate. They're gonna get a pass rusher here, man. They about to really invest in that D line. They took a corner. Interesting. What's going on with Will Johnson? I don't know. I, I'm not sure. Wow. Philadelphia's up. We are almost. I don't know what's going on with Will Johnson, but it looks Philly might take him. Philly, bro. Philly takes Mike Green. Good God. The pick is in for Philadelphia. Getting ready to wrap up this draft, and we'll go from there. All right, man. Whew. Yeah, we definitely got to talk about the Starks pick because I felt at the end of the day, like I said, it's my number two choice, so I'm not exactly disappointed. But man, I really thought we should have gotten a pass rusher. Though Starks was somebody I'd already seen was projected to the Ravens for like weeks now, and again, they obviously want to get back to running three safeties, and they needed to replace Marcus Williams, so it makes sense. He's going to be a great player for the Ravens. He's going to be successful. He's going to work out, and he's going to be great next to Kyle Hamilton. But yeah, not having that pass rusher definitely hurts because we don't have the ability to get to the quarterback. So yeah, Eagles don't have any weakness. No one says the Eagles don't have. You're right. No one's saying the Eagles don't have any weakness. They just get to add to what they already have. But they did lose a lot of players though, so you know. Okay, see, you sure you want to trade up and let Philly pick before you? You sure this is the pick you want to go with? I mean, not pick. You sure this is the decision you want to go with? Boy, we definitely got to talk about the Starks for sure. The the Starks pick wasn't a bad pick. You got a great player, but again, this feels similar to the 2022 draft where it wasn't where we drafted a great player, but it wasn't on a position of need. Hopefully, Starks turns out the same way Hamilton did. So at least you can sit back and say you've got two dominant safeties. But I can't even lie, man. Once again, we didn't really address the pass rushing op. There was plenty of talent at 27 to get a pass rusher, and we chose to get a safety. Again, this feels like 2022. You got a great player. He's going to be successful and he's going to be great. But once again, you ignored the top priority, a top need, which was a pass rusher. You needed a pass rusher. That was the number one thing. You chose number two over number one. Number one need was pass rusher. Number two need was safety. So you're not getting, it's not a bad trade on bad pick. I personally like it. I sat back and said, you're going to get a pass rusher or a safety. I can live with either or. They got a safety. I'm fine with it. Starks was the guy. If you were going to draft a safety, it had to be Starks. They got their guy. I'm cool with that. But many people are definitely going to sit back and say, it's a good pick. It's a good choice. But we needed a pass rusher. And you didn't get a pass rusher. You had a first round draft pick here. You didn't get a pass rusher. I'm digging our pick at 27 drafting Malachi Starks. We good in the secondary. That was a need. But over pass rusher, I'm not sure everybody's going to be happy with that. It's going to be mixed feelings here. It's a great pick. It's a great choice. EDC definitely did cook with this. But again, we chose not to address our top priority. We chose not to take our top priority, which was top priority, absolutely was the pass rusher. Number two was the safety. So you addressed number two, you didn't deal with number one. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, man. Of course they do. Kansas City, Kansas City's at 32, final pick of the first round, and we can wrap up tonight. And the Chiefs already got their pick in. Oh man, you could tell, man. I could see Ravens fans got mixed feelings about this. It feels like 2022 all over again. Baltimore took a great player over a need. They needed to get a pass rusher. And instead, they chose to get a safety. It's not, again, it's just like Kyle Hamilton. This is not a bad pick. Just like Kyle Hamilton, this is not a bad pick. But you choose to ignore addressing a need to go get a great player. Hopefully this works out like Kyle Hamilton did. Because if it does, you're going to have two great safeties right next to each other. But people definitely going to have some issues with us not addressing a need. People are tired of watching the Ravens not address a need. They're tired of watching people. They're tired of watching the Ravens choose to not address a need, as opposed to just picking the best available player or a great player they feel will match up with them. You know, this will be a discussion. I could definitely tell there's going to be mixed reactions. I'm actually looking at Twitter right now. There seems to definitely be some mixed reactions here and there in regards to it. A lot of people like Starks. He's a great player. He definitely fits with what the Ravens want to do, and it's a great pick. But at the end of the day, what was needed was a pass rusher, and you got a need. The safety position was a need, especially because Marcus Williams was gone, but you didn't get the number one need, which was pass rusher. So you got the number two need, which was safety, in my opinion, but you didn't get the number one need, especially when everybody dropped. Everybody dropped, man. Everybody dropped, and the opportunity was there. It's gonna be interesting, though. It is gonna be very interesting, though. Like I said, I really like the pick. He's a great player, and he's gonna fit well with our secondary, no question. But once again, we're gonna potentially head into the season with no legitimate pass rushers. We are going to generate sacks because we always find a way to generate sacks. But in terms of putting legitimate pressure on a quarterback, not going to be able to do that. With the guys you have on that front seven, you're not going to be able to legitimately put pressure on quarterbacks. So that's going to be a conversation that's going to be discussed. But at the end of the day, you're still getting another great player. And it's going to fit well, and it's going to make their secondary even better. It's going to make their secondary even better. But at the end of the day, people are going to look and say, once again, what are you going to do about that pass rushing unit? Okay? What are you going to do about that pass rushing unit? The secondary, this honestly helps really patch up your secondary, and they can still go corner if they wanted to. But when you look at that pass rushing unit, are you comfortable with what you're seeing there? Ravens fans have watched for years. These guys, for years, they've watched them produce sacks in the regular season while not being able to generate consistent pressure. Then they get to the playoffs, they can't create any pressure, and now they can't get to the quarterback. So this is a conversation we are definitely going to have and discuss. But overall, it's not a bad pick. We have to explain this. I personally like the pick. This feels very similar to the Kyle Hamilton situation back in 2022, where the Ravens got a great player over a specific need or a primary need. And people are going to have mixed feelings about it. But once the guy's on the field making plays, people overall will be able to move past it and say, you know what, this guy's a hell of a player. And now you got this guy right next to Kyle Hamilton. Kansas City knows what they're doing, bro. Kansas City does not draft based off of best talent. They draft based on need. Kansas City did this. The last time they did this, when they lost to the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl because their offensive line could not protect Patrick Mahomes. What did they do in the draft? Go get an offensive lineman. They just lost another Super Bowl where they could not protect Patrick Mahomes. The offensive line was getting broken. What did they just do? Patch that up right now. This is what makes Kansas City as great as they are, man. They easily see an issue. They easily see something that needs to be addressed. They easily see a need that needs to be fixed, and they fix it like that. Not even surprised. Everybody knew they needed to get that left tackle situation figured out because Mahomes was getting hit from his blind side. They needed to get a left tackle. They went and got a left tackle. They know exactly what they're doing. And that's why the Chiefs are who they are. And nobody is surprised in the slightest. That right there is just a good move. Trade Mark Andrews for Mike Green, and I'll be so happy. Well, I don't think at this point you're going to see Mark Andrews get traded. I think at this point we could put those talks down. We could put those talks away. We could say it's officially died down. I don't think it's going to happen. Mike Green and Will Johnson falling out of the first round is diabolical. Well, I guess I believe with Green is because of the off the field issues, so they're not willing to take those type of risks, which again is fine. Shador was undrafted. He's not a first round pick here. So we are going to have to see how this is going to go, man. I'm not going to lie. He was not drafted here. We finna find out what's going to happen. Anyway, guys, it's been a long night. I'm still coughing, and I got to go take some Benadryl or something to deal with this cough. So I'm going to let you go. I might make a quick video about the pick, and we may talk about it more tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much for pulling up to the 2025 NFL Draft. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you soon. Be sure to stay safe, and peace out.